the project manager of the ILO International Program on the Elimination of Child Labour.
Good morning, everyone. I will be presenting a project being implemented by ILO to eliminate child labor in the country. The title of the project is Towards a Child Labor-Free Philippines. The unit within ILO which deals with the child labor issue is called the International Program on the Elimination of Child Labor. What is IPEC? Its goal is like the name says, it's an international program. It's being implemented in 80 countries throughout the world, and its goal is the progressive elimination of child labor worldwide with priority on the worst forms. What are the worst forms of child labor? I will discuss later. Child labor, as per the Philippine Act on Child Labor or Republic Act 9231, is any work or economic activity performed by a child that subjects her or him to any form of exploitation or is harmful to her or his health, safety, or physical, mental, or psychological development. Keywords: the child is being exploited, taken advantage of. The work is not to her or his benefit. And then there are hazards. There are to her or his health, safety, physical, mental, or psychological development. That the child has rights. She or he is supposed to be in school to spend time for play, but if the child is in work, these rights are being violated, and the physical, mental, and psychological aspects of the child are being affected. Worst part of child labor, according to Convention 182, ILO Convention 182, are these four. First, all forms of slavery or practices similar to slavery. Included here is child trafficking and the use of children in armed conflict. Commercial sexual exploitation, prostitution, pornography. Unlawful activities, especially the use of children for the sale of drugs. And then hazardous work, as already mentioned in the previous slide. Starting last year, middle of last year, until 2013, IPEC has been implementing a project in the Philippines. And this is the context of that project. As already mentioned by Yusek Rasmonte, there are still lots of child laborers in the Philippines. According to the 2010 Labor Force Survey, there are 2.4 million working children. However, the Labor Force Survey does not provide a comprehensive picture. It does not really say which children are in the worst forms, which children are in school, which children are exposed to hazards. That is why ILO-IPEC, this project, will support the Philippine NSO in the conduct of a new survey on working children starting this year, 2011. The last survey done was in 2001. So it will be a 10-year update of the survey on working children. When we get the data, we hope to get a more comprehensive picture of the child labor situation in the country. As already mentioned by both Director Johnson and Yusek Masmonte, there is a national program on child labor. It's called Philippine Program Against Child Labor. The goal of our project is to support the government in the implementation of the Philippine Program Against Child Labor. There's a National Child Labor Committee. It's multi-stakeholder. There are NGOs there are trade unions, there are employers groups, and government agencies are there. And the chair is the Department of Labor and Employment. Our task as a project is to support this movement, this program, to achieve its goals. Funding comes from the U.S. Department of Labor. These are the four project components. The first component is knowledge management. The project wants to make accessible information and knowledge management tools, not just to collect data, not just to improve data gathering, not just to have updated statistics all the time, but to develop a system where these information are easily shared. That's why there was mention of an internet-based portal where this function can be seen. And then the second component is partner strengthening. There are committees already mentioned where the National Child Labour Committees, Regional Child Labour Committees, Provincial Child Labour Committees. So the project intends to strengthen the capacities of all these committees as well as the constituents of ILO, namely the employers groups and the trade unions, in eliminating child labour. And then since as a project and as a program, the Philippine Program Against Child Labour, we cannot solve this very big problem in one go. We will show effective service delivery models. We want to show models of effective elimination of child labor through the integrated delivery of services with a particular focus on solving the problem of poverty, as already mentioned by Director Johnson, which is the root cause of child labor, through approaches like local economic development. Again, this will be piloted in some areas. And then sustainability. To formulate new and updated policy issuances at the national and local levels with clear provisions for budget allocation to make sure that government-led initiatives and even child labor committee initiatives are sustained beyond the life of this project we are implementing. Now, the coverage of this project is nationwide, but there are 4 demonstration provinces where we intend to show these effective models of service delivery. And these are Masbate, Northern Samar, Quezon, and Bukidnon, selected because of the high incidence of child labor in these provinces, as well as high incidence of poverty and very high dropout rates. Now let me just go through the situation in these 4 provinces I mentioned, which the data were gathered through a baseline survey we did in these provinces late last year. Now we, again, because of limitations, we cannot cover the whole of the province, but we focus on some areas where the indicators I already mentioned were quite high. In the province of Quezon, Lucena City, Calauag, and Catanawan. Number of child laborers, 1,453. 70% were boys, 30% girls. And then in terms of age distribution, there's 30% 5 to 9-year-old age range, and then 43% 10 to 14-year-olds, 44% 15 to 17-year-olds. The top 3 sectors where these child laborers are located: 24% informal sales, like the girls there, doing street vending, and then 18% domestic work, 18% scrap recycling, scavenging to them. The link with education, 47% are not in school of these child laborers. And for those in school, as already mentioned by Director Johnson, it affects their capacity to be in school. They are absent 7 days in a month. And then when asked the top reason for going to work, again the link with poverty, 85% need to support their family economically. And then the top cited reason not going to school, 34% can't afford to go to school. They would rather work and support the family. In Bukidnon, 4 areas: Malaybalay City, Maramat, Quezon, and Valencia City. Number of child laborers, 1,632. Again, more or less the same, 65% boys, 34% girls. Age distribution, majority within the 15 to 17-year-old age range. The top 3 sectors, Bukidnon being an agricultural province, is agriculture sugar, 34%. 24% in agriculture corn, and another 12% domestic work. 45% of these children are not in school. For those who are in school, they are absent 4 days a month. Again, top cited reason for going to work, 70% need to support the family, and then not going to school, 23% can't afford to go to school. In Masbate, 2 municipalities and 1 city. Quite high number of child laborers, 4,111, 60% boys, 40% girls. The bigger age range here is 46% for 10 to 14-year-olds. Top 3 sectors, Masbate being an island, 36% fishing, 20% informal sales, and then 14% domestic work. 19% are not in school. Top-cited reason, again, 41% need to support the family, and then not going to school, 8% can't afford to go to school. Northern Samar, 4 municipalities, number of child laborers, 1,589, 72% boys, 28% girls. Again, the trend is there are more boys than girls. This is in line with the national pattern, no, as per the 2001 survey. And then more at the 47%, 10 to 14-year-old age range at 47%. Top 3 sectors, 34% informal sales, 15% domestic work, 9% agri-palay. And then 26% are not in school. They only attend 4 days a month for those who are in school. Reason for going to work, 44% need to support the family. Not going to school, 14% can't afford to go to school. So that is a snapshot of the situation in the 4 provinces. Now, as I already mentioned in the previous slide, our objective is to show that child labor can be eliminated through models of effective service delivery and elimination. So this is the approach.